So today we're going to work on building some lights for, in our case, flounder gigging. And we're using an 1¼ inch pipe. We're going to use some of these TH Marine lights with the 6 LEDs, about $25 a piece. Some 1¼ inch T fittings, PVC glue, some solder, some wire, good old faithful 5200. You can also use 4200. Got some caps here, different tools to measure. Some alligator clips. That's how we're going to end up hooking into the battery. We're actually going to put some switches on ours. Got some pins to adjust them with, and a soldering gun. These are 4 10-inch pieces of pipe. This is what we're actually going to mount our lights onto. Those pipes are just cut. They're actually going to mount onto the sides of them. We're going to drill holes in these guys, and we're actually going to put one light straight out and one tilted down. That way we get both angles. Here you can see where we've got a drill bit. We've sized it so that the hole will cover where that grommet's at. Each of these lights here are measuring roughly 3½ inches. So we've allowed ourselves, the cap and the T are going to cover 1 inch of this pipe. So we're going to split the pipe in half at 5 inches, and then what we're going to do, we know that the cap comes down here, so we're going to center that light, and we're going to start the first light 1¼ inch from this side, and then we're going to start the next light 1¼ inch from this side. We're actually going to hold the pipe straight up, and we're going to drill a hole straight down into it. They make templates and guides for this, of course. I have a hole there, and then we're just going to come over about 15 degrees, and in my case here we're just eyeing this. It's not rocket science, of course. All right. We'll take and we'll undo the cord here. Fish the cord through. Now the light's going to sit nice and flush in place right here. We'll stick another light on. And we're not using to block the spacers that come with these. Later in the video we'll show you how, we're going to seal these off, and that's what the 52 or 4200 comes in. Or Life Caulk. It's just a good product as well to use. Alright, so now we've got one light tilted up, one light tilted down, and this is how we're going to screw all of them on. We're going to mount all of them first before we do anything. And in this case, we're actually going to remove the rubber grommets, the rubber washers off the back, because they're not full, and we're going to be filling the whole back side with 5200. So we're going to actually remove these. Most cases, of course, these are needed and very helpful. So when that mounts, once we screw it on, then we're going to come back in and we're going to 5200. We're going to 5200 the whole in and the entire back of this. Practice makes perfect here, doesn't it? Alright, so that one's done. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video, make the other ones, put those together, and then we'll come back to the next stage. Alright, we now have all the light rigs made up. As you can see here, we hadn't secured them down, but we've got them all drilled, got the wires fished through the bottom. And in our case, of course, we got 4 because we're making 2 different rigs. That's going to be preference on what you're used to, water clarity, so on. So the next thing we're going to do is put the caps on the end of these pipes. And of course, cap in our case is going to go on the opposite end, so we don't make a mess with the glue. We're actually going to glue the caps themselves. Push those guys on all the way. We're going to continue to do that process for each one. And there again, these are underwater lights, so they'll be fine, but we want to protect them as much as possible. Right, so all of them now have caps on them. Pretty painless process. And now we're going to go ahead and fish these into one of the T-fittings. So that'll be one side. Here's another side. Alright, now here's an important stage here. You got to make sure your lights are exactly how you want them whenever you get to this stage. Now of course, we made ours to where they were staggered. So one's down low, one's up, one's down. And at this stage we are going to make sure everything's laying down flat. Glue that. The T is flat on the surface. This light here we know is supposed to be horizontal. Alright, that's that. So that light will end up mounting just like that. This light here will need to be horizontal. Make sure the T's flat. Make sure this light here is horizontal out. Push that in nice and tight. Alright. So that'll put every other light on a different angle. Where we cover straight out and cover down. Alright. These wires here, of course, I'm going to leave them loose in case anything ever goes wrong and I have to cut or pull the wire out. So I'm just going to leave them loose sitting inside of the wire mold. I'm going to go ahead and do the other T and put you guys on pause. We're back and we're going to show you what we're going to do is we're going to put some 5200 right around the little inlet here. Make sure it's well coated. Put a little bit around this whole leaving. After sticking the 5200 in, we're going to grab a drill bit. We're actually going to pre-drill us some holes in this pipe. make it a little easier to get those screws started. So, with those holes being there, we are good to go. Tighten it down too much because you will break the acrylic on these lights. So there again, drill. Don't drill and hold the drill bit in there too long, simply because it'll end up hitting one of those wires. We're going to start with that. Put some 5200 around this guy. Around the hole. And that just seals that part of it. We're actually going to come back as well and put 5200 all the way around the light to the PVC, but that'll be later in the video. As you can see, both of the lights are done. When it comes to rigging them up, they're all screwed off.